Scary Alvarez is back in the house. Like it's a 1992 party with Kid and Play. And I got a fun one for you today. Or at least as fun as it can be without a guest. Sometimes those are even better, more efficient. I have 4 wild predictions for the Wisconsin Badgers 2025 football season. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. That's 4 kids. Your definition of wild might vary from mine. These are not things like we're going to have a Heisman Trophy winner or win the college football playoff, get PJ Fleck fired, things like that. So adjust your expectations accordingly. But we've got some fun ones that are all within the realm of possibility, but not things a lot of people are predicting. 4. Before we get started today, please like and subscribe. Always appreciated. Keep us ahead of the PJ Fleck Pierogi Hour on YouTube. First one. Wisconsin is going to beat at least one of these 3 teams. Ohio State, Oregon, and at Alabama down in Tuscaloosa. You heard me right. I am calling a signature win for Luke Fickell. No, this does not foreclose the possibility that Wisconsin can get upset this season by another team. No, it does not mean they're going to sweep all the games that you think they should sweep, that were not against elite teams. But I'm telling you, breaking it down to the 3 toughest games on its already difficult schedule, Wisconsin is going to come away with a win somewhere in that 3-game stretch of teams. They're going to beat Alabama, or they're going to beat Oregon, both those road games, or they're going to beat Ohio State. Now, how many people are calling any of those, folks? I haven't looked at the FPI in any of those. It's hard to imagine Wisconsin being higher than 20% in any of those games. So yeah, this isn't a, oh yeah, that's probably going to happen. This is it almost certainly will not happen according to the statistics and the experts. Wisconsin's going to grab one of those wins. I hope, if I had to pick one of the 3, that is against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Camp Randall will be absolutely freaking crazy on what I'm hoping will be a night game there in October, ending that hellacious 15-year losing streak to Ohio State in style. Second, we got 4 of them, so we can click one of them off. By the way, I'd love to hear your comments. I always ask for that at the end of the show, but hear me out here, and then decide if this is making sense. I don't usually care if I'm making sense because I'm pretty sure that I am, but I do like to hear your input. And sometimes you make points. I'm like, hey, I never thought of it that way. Billy Edwards Jr. is going to have the best quarterback season for Wisconsin since 2019. Okay, that may not seem like that long ago, but given the wilderness Wisconsin's been running in the last few years, the 2019 season ended up in the Rose Bowl, folks. Okay, it was a 10-win team, played in the Big Ten championship game, real successful. Had a cat named Jonathan Taylor tilting the rock. Guy named Jack Cohn throwing the ball and running with the ball. But yeah, Edwards Jr. is going to have the best quarterback season for Wisconsin since the 2010s, 2019. Again, that's, as I said at the top of the show, these are not crazy clickbaity type things. These are things that are not many people are necessarily thinking are going to happen that I think could. So, best season obviously is subjective. I don't know what that exactly looks like. It's more a feel than anything. It's not necessarily QBR or more touchdowns or more yardage on the ground, but just kind of when the dust settles at the end of this upcoming season, wherever that ends up being, and you evaluate the quarterback play, you're going to say that was the best quarterback season that a Wisconsin Badger has had since Jack Cohn in 2019. Okay. That's a bold prediction. It's a prediction I'm making. Number 3, we're moving along quite efficiently today. And this one may not seem as bold as a couple of these other ones. And there is some relation that they all have to each other. Before I mention this, I do want to reiterate the fact that the current Wisconsin over-under is 5.5 wins. Okay. So again, this is what I'm about to say is not some crazy, groundbreaking, knock the walls down kind of prediction. But hear me out. Wisconsin Badgers and their hellacious schedule, the most recent one that came out from a good source, I think it might have been ESPN again, has it ranked number 2 in the country of difficulty. Wisconsin Badgers are going to make a bowl game and win a bowl game in 2025. You heard me right. The corollary to what I just said is Wisconsin at the end of the season, as we head to 2026, is going to have won 7 or more games. So I kind of buried the lead there that this is going to be a 7-win football team. Possibly more, but I'm gonna say the floor is going to be 7 because it's going to have to be to win a bowl game. That's a big deal. I've had internet arguments with people, and there's no way to say who's right or wrong other than saying that I'm right. And this isn't to denigrate some of these teams that we're comparing them to that Wisconsin has had in the past. There were some fine-ass teams in 16, 17, 19 that Paul Chryst took care of. But those schedules, they weren't total cake, but they were pretty cakey. Yeah, 2019 had Ohio State twice. But none of them sniffed Wisconsin's 2025 schedule. None of them sniffed it. Okay, so my position has been, with anyone who will listen, that winning 7 games in 2025 is the functional equivalent of winning 9 or 10, maybe even a little more in some of the years with lighter schedules. Some of those Big Ten West specials, when you're playing 3 directional teams. I'm not saying that we always played bad teams in the early non-con. We had some really nice games there periodically. But by and large, they were reasonably easy compared to having Alabama there. And certainly the schedule within the Big Ten Conference was never even close to this hard. Okay, we have 6 ranked teams right now, and then a couple others receiving votes types like Iowa. It's just tough, guys. And they're going to win 7. They're going to win a bowl game. Win a bowl game. I'm calling a bowl game win. That is flying. That's flying without radar, kids. I'm doing it. I think by that time in the season, they'll have figured it out, and they'll have gone through the gauntlet of having that otherworldly October schedule, and they'll come out on the other end, probably with 5 losses, and they're going to be a better team. And then y'all watch out in 2026, buddy. That's all I got to say. Watch out in 2026. And finally, and this isn't in any sort of order, like I was building up to a crescendo of the craziest one, but I feel like this one is important because it kind of like difference-making quarterback play, a disruptive defensive lineman / edge rusher is something Wisconsin just simply hasn't had. I mean, Nick Herbig as an OLB lined up all over the place. That's probably the last guy, and I guess that was 22, so it wasn't that long ago. But the talent, that kind of high-end talent, was certainly spiraling the drain by that point. And I just think that this year with Mason Reiger, we have that guy. Okay. He's had a little bit of trouble in the past staying healthy, so that's always going to be an X factor. But the talk that I've heard about Reiger in camp, obviously very different context, different age, different whatever, but it reminds me on the defensive end of the kind of glowing things I was hearing about Jonathan Taylor Taylor's freshman year, when wasn't really that well known, and he was just doing things in camp in August that no one else was doing and that no one could stop. Riger is having that kind of fall camp to the point where they're having him sitting out some of the practices, kind of like a Fabergé egg in bubble wrap, because you want to make sure you don't do something that you regret in a practice. God knows the Badgers had enough dings and nicks and worse in these practices leading up to the 2025 season that they can't afford to lose this guy. But Riger is going to have 10 sacks or more this season. Saying it right now. There has not been a Badger with 10 or more sacks in a long while. And the part about this that's so great is when you have a threat to get 10 or more sacks on your team and do other disruptive things, hurrying the quarterback, putting shoulder into the quarterback after the quarterback's just barely released it, so it's not a penalty. But you got the quarterback's thinking in his mind, lighting up a running back that's trying to turn the corner. You make the players around you better. You make the other edge rusher types better. You make the job of the defensive lineman who clog things a little bit easier. And you panic the offense you're facing. So Mason Riger, 10 plus sacks from him this year. And there are a few other ones I was dabbling in, but I'm going to leave it at 4 because that's a good length. But I'd like to hear all y'all tell me what you think of these 4 and throw the predictions of your own down into the comments. I always love to hear from you guys. That's part of the fun of doing podcasts is doing it. The second part is kind of watching it and how it interacts with Wisconsin fans. That's always kind of fun. So please do so, because I know I miss stuff. And look, guys, if I go 2 out of 4 on this, I'd almost take it. Because these are, if all 4 of these things happen in this season that I just said, it's going to have been a pretty good season. Maybe more than pretty good. It's going to have been a season that exceeds expectations. Okay, and a lot of these things, as I said, have to do with each other. So if you do have the best quarterback play since 2019, and you do have a 10-sack guy in Mason Riger, you have a much better chance of having a 7-win team, winning a bowl game, right? I mean, so these are all kind of, related in some way, and it's that kind of team that can sneak up and beat an Oregon or an Alabama or an Ohio State. But so I think the underlying theme of what I'm saying is I like the cut of this team's jib. And I'm not going crazy. This is not a double-digit win kind of team. This team's going to have some losses this year, probably 5 of them. Okay? Maybe 6. If they stay healthy and don't fall apart, which I'm feeling pretty confident they won't fall apart. But it's going to be a pretty good year. And I feel like there's going to be some excitement and some things we haven't seen in a while. And we're going to get that old Wisconsin Badger vibe back. Unless you're kind of a Johnny-come-lately that looks at things without the lens of the context of any given year and says, oh, you only won 7 games, that sucks. Paul Chris wouldn't have won 7 games. I'm not worried about those folks. The real ones know. Okay, that a 7-win season with a bowl win, with Billy Edwards Jr. playing the best quarterbacking since 2019, when your edge guy's getting 10 sacks, okay, things are okay. Things are looking up. And that would be a pretty good place to be heading into 26. Could the ceiling potentially be higher than this? Hey, man, you never know. I'm not capping anything, but I'm telling you these are the predictions I'm willing to make right now. Let's see what you think in the comments. Scary's out.